Hello, everybody. Welcome to 说书用肚子翻滚素的新加坡. I am Wen Ting. Hello, everybody. This is the first series of sharing of a vegetarian book, and we are doing it for 30 series to share on different books that is about vegetarian. And the book that I am going to share today is a very interesting book that I like a lot, which I found in Ang Mo Kio National Library. Look at this. This is Meatless, a fresh look at what you eat. So, like, people might wonder I should share something. It's like adult books, but I chose this as a start because I think, to be honest, people who are vegetarian has got this children's heart in their mind, and they are the compassionate people whereby they think and feel for the animals. So this book is actually for 8 years old and above. Let me share with you my PPT. Okay, this book is actually written by Sarah Elton. She is a Canadian, however, she's not a vegetarian yet. She wrote this book and illustrations just to ask herself, why should we choose meatless meal or plant-based meal? It's you just counter check about why you choose and why not choose to be a person who doesn't eat any meat. Okay, so what this book is about, let me share with you. There are 4 chapters, and of course it's for 8 years and above. I think I am a kid, so I like to read kids book. First of all, it's history of meat eating, the history of like our human history, since when we did eating meat, or since when we don't eat meat, or how about our ancestors, our long ago people, and why go vegetarian. She asked herself, why should she go vegetarian, or why should people go vegetarian? What is the concern and what are the thinking about it? And thirdly, if not meat, then what? What can you eat? What are the alternatives other than meat? Is it that we have to have meat in order to survive or to live our life of 80 years, 70 years, or even longer or shorter? And lastly, to become a vegetarian, what are the obstacles and what can you try to do to to tell and to convince the people beside you that, hey, don't be afraid, I'm not going to be a monk, or I'm not going to be a nun to be a vegetarian. Okay, so one thing is that this author, Sarah Elton, she actually shared there was once she was asked to kill a chicken by her. She held the feet of the chicken with her grandfather, I think, and the chicken was chopped on the neck. And then she was very shocked. Why is she very shocked? Because every time when she sees a chicken, it's all wrapped in a plastic bag. So we don't see lively chickens. We don't see the real we don't see how the chickens walking around. Of course, we see it in Singapore, in Thomson, everywhere. But she herself has never seen the chicken in life, and that's when she feel the struggle of the chicken. And when she sees it, it's already on the table of the dinner. And that is what makes her think, why are people choosing a meatless lifestyle? So one thing that attracts me in this book is that we actually studied in our math talking about Pythagoras theorem. I think people knows Pythagoras theorem is the actually he's the father of vegetarianism. Thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, this philosopher that we know, we thought that he's a mathematician, but he's not. He's a philosopher. So he believes that animals and humans belong to the same family, and that is when a human dies, the soul is reborn in the body of an animal. That is why he started to be a vegetarianism. A vegetarian, he don't eat any meat. This is the first finding I got this from this book, which is very interesting. So the history of meat eating for humans. Our ancestors, they don't really, for me, I'm a Chinese actually don't really eat that much of meat, because meat is something that is very expensive and is not affordable by all families. So what is meat? To the Westerners, meat is equals to wealth. When you're wealthy enough, you can catch all these animals and put it in your range. That means you are so wealthy to have this as your assets. But Chinese, to the Chinese, it's not only wealthiness or not wealthy. It's not the problem of being rich or not rich. It's like no meat is equals to healthiness, health. Because in Chinese there's this Dao Jia. They actually believe that having no meat or little meat is something that is nearer to the spiritual self that you want to gain, like Lao Tzu, Zhuangzi. Okay, And for the Indian, it's even a very philosophical way of thinking of life. They think that eating meat is wrong from the first place because there shouldn't be any violence for the Indians. So from their ancestors, they think that it is something that's not right to eat meat. And I also found in this book something that is very interesting about the religious rules. They actually list out a few religions. I just share with you three. One of them is the Old Testament from the Christians. They say that Adam and Eve actually don't eat meat at all, and it's told by Jesus that they are not supposed to eat meat. Only when the different versions of Christians' books, they change the way of repeating this story. I think it's some Catholics, they still hold on to the logic of not eating meat. And for Hinduism is non-violence. Their religion preach that non-violence equals to no killing even to animals, to all living beings. That is why you can see that India has the most vegetarian number of people. And thirdly, Buddhist, it says that compassionate, because we are full of misery. I mean, this life is full of suffering. To reduce suffering is to reduce misery. That is to be compassionate. You have to be very compassionate. I mean, you have to train yourself to be compassionate. One way of being compassionate is to be a vegetarian. And so, at this point of time, the book comes to another chapter that says, why go vegetarian? I think it's quite interesting. I list out three, although she actually lists out a lot, and I like the illustrations of the book. It says that animals have feelings too. They actually feel scared. They have frightenness. They have love. You know, animals, they even love. They have their loved ones like us humans. They cry. They are scared. They know what is fear. They know what are their babies. They have a lot of feelings like us. Maybe we have to text. We text like I love you, but they don't know how to text. Maybe they just do like winking of eyes. I'm not sure, but we humans, we cage them just for food, which is quite cruel. According to the book, it says that we used to put the animals out of range. They can run everywhere in the farm, but this is not seen in these days. And in a big farm, like maybe to keep chickens, a big farm can keep up to 10,000 chickens in a place that is a little bit scary, and that is what it say. It's not very humane. It's not very humane. It's cruel. It's equivalent to cruelty. Secondly, why vegetarian? Because by 2050, we need 2 times more the meat to supply and to let all humans get enough food. If we still insist on having meat for every meal we have, every plate of meal that we have, so 2 times meat is needed. That's why all the scientists are looking for ways to have a sustainable way of eating. Like they are thinking of eating crickets, cockroaches, all those things that you can see in Thailand market, which are they fry it, all the insects, because they provide protein as well. So as to think of it, do you want to eat ants or crickets? I think it's so 恶心, it's so eerie, so 恶心, right? What is that? Okay, so girly. Anyway, so yeah, it's very disgusting. Thank you for that. Okay, so when the population bursts, we cannot depend on real food, real animal lives. Other than cruelty, another thing is that the population will burst someday. So why not? That's why we are choosing another alternative, that is the protein-based food that might not be animals, and you don't have to kill. And thirdly, meat creates a lot of greenhouse gases. If people might not know, I was quite shocked about this list. It's other than the high cost of producing meat, whereby you need the money to deliver, you need the money to range the animals, to kill it, to slaughter it, to deliver them, to bring it somewhere, everywhere. All these greenhouse gases, and the cost is very high. How high would that be? Let me just point out some examples. 1 kg of beef that creates 27 kg of CO2. 1 kg of chicken creates 6.9 kg of CO2, and 1 kg of tofu, which can feed a lot of people, only creates 2 kg of CO2. And lentils is a kind of beans. It only creates 1 kg of it creates only 0.9 kg of CO2, which is a lot difference. It's more than 30 times. It's more than 30 times difference. See the difference of how much greenhouse gases we have been creating if we continue with this kind of habits or diets. So last but not least, the very third important chapter of this book is to become a vegetarian person, a vegetarian. Some might say, oh, it's so shy, I'm so embarrassed, I don't want to tell my friends that I'm a vegetarian, I don't know how to make friends with being a vegetarian. I think it's not a big problem this is a trend nowadays, it's very trendy. First of all, tell your family members first and your friends. Share the news. You can just tell them that, hey, you are still, because there's a chapter, it actually identifies what kind of food you can try to as an alternative to meat. So I didn't share that chapter. You can just read on it and share the news to your friends and families to tell them that it's not bad to be a vegetarian and you won't be lack of nutrients and supplements. This is one of the methods. Secondly, in the book there is this a meat-free week, which is you can jot down your diet list for the week, maybe like breakfast, lunch, tea time, and dinner. You can try to share with them, hey, what did you eat, and write down so that you know that you are having quite healthy lifestyle, healthy diet. Even us as a vegetarian, we can drink bubble tea. Okay, and I want to share this very nice tips from kids, because this is a book for kids. One of them from Toronto, she actually shared that she has been singing the song Mary Had a Little Lamb, but when the lamb was put on the table, she thinks it's not a joyful thing to eat them anymore, because she has been singing this song like joyfully and happily. But how come this happiness becomes the food on her plate? At the age of 2, she realized that it's not correct. At the age of 2, I feel the compassionate heart of a children. They actually can feel for animals when they are young. So I think for parents, maybe why not don't try to stop your child from being a compassionate one. And there are a lot other kids in the books that they share how they become a vegetarian and why they choose to be a vegetarian. I think from their heart, it's not about healthiness, it's about compassionate. And last but not least, there's the very last page of this book. It says food for thought. I would like to share with all of you that is one of the playwrights wrote, animals are my friends and I don't eat my friends. And one of the musicians, right, you can judge a man's true character by the way he treats his fellow animals. So how you treat animals is how your character is. And one of the Buddhist nun, spiritual leader, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese nun, he says that by eating meat, we share the responsibility of climate change, the destruction of our forests, and the poisoning of our air and water. The simple act of being a vegetarian will make a difference in the health of our planet. Why not try it? Give it a try, if not for animals, for the planet, for our planet. And one of the authors also, and a singer, he said, I think his author, he said, I did not become a vegetarian for my health, it's for the health of the chickens. This is something that really touches me. So last but not least, this book has 48 pages, just 48 pages. I read 3 times, and it's really very interesting, and it really sparks my thoughts, and it makes me more determined to be a vegetarian. Although I have been a vegetarian for 20 years, so 4 chapters, but 3 main important things that I would like to share today. And last but not least, this is a very nice place, and this place is known as A Cup of Time. The owner of the shop told me not to say it's a cup of tea, it's a cup of time. And we are here to start on the first episode of说蔬. We will share different vegetarian books from all over the world with different people at different vegetarian shops. And at these vegetarian stores and shops that we are recommending, they have their veg forwards partners. Yeah, they partner with veg forwards. So what you can do is to pledge. You go to this page, which we have already tagged on the Facebook link. Pledge it. You visit a store, and you can collect a lot of points. With the points, you get rewards. Like by being a vegetarian, by taking each and every vegetarian meal, you get rewards. So why not give it a try? And we have 150 more than 150 stores all over Singapore, which I think it's a nice act. Let's do it together. We shall try our best to 吃播用肚子翻滚素的新加坡 Let Singapore's society be better and nicer with a lot of vegetarian. Thank you very much, and let's take a look at our store. A cup of time. They have coffee and different types of tea, bread, self-made breads, and let me see what do they have. Sides like wow, all this Singaporean food. Even though we cannot take in this time, we can just it's always open. Well, shop and it's all vegetarian. Bye bye. Like it.